and record it directly to YouTube?
I'm recording it on my computer, sending it to YouTube, sending it to my Facebook business page, sending this thing to my business, to my personal profile. You know how we got to do it, man, over here in Automation
Send it to me
Mastery.
eventually, right? Eventually, no,
What?
The video.
What? Will you eventually get the video?
Yeah. Or do I gotta go to your YouTube and connect?
Nah,
Okay.
man, you gotta. It's
Okay.
$9.97 for the video. That's not free. No, folks are watching. So for the folks watching, y'all, we just we cracking jokes. It's all good. We're about to go ahead and get started here real quick. I'm gonna hit the actual thing to my personal page here. It should come through shortly, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit this go live for that little awkward time where it says it's countdown, but we already technically live the moment I hit it. So the folks who aren't hit but kind of sitting there staring. Like
don't stare. Just act like we going.
We actually on. So welcome everybody to another edition of the Road to 10K. This is a series in this particular podcast where I'm talking to folks about how they made their first 10K in business, specifically talking about a lot of coaches, speakers, experts, trainers, consultants. And again, if y'all don't know me, I'm Justin, founder of automationmaster.net. I help coaches and speakers create automated systems that save time and generate revenue. So as y'all come in today, look, I have a guy on here who knows money like the back of his hand. So if y'all have questions and it's like, hey, I need help with this kind of stuff, but when it comes to hiring somebody, had to use that stimulus check in other spaces, this is probably your chance to ask some questions. So as y'all come in, whether you're live or on the replay, throw your questions in the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and what you do. So that way we just can identify and all that jazz. And of course, as y'all come in, the one little piece of payment that we ask for is just that you share. So with that all being said, let me welcome to the virtual stage, to the podcast, for the folks who are just listening and not watching. Go ahead and welcome my good friend, my brother, Dondrea Brown. How's it going, my man?
It's going well, man. It's over here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We had some nice weather. So I'm focused on my fitness goals. So I got out and did some running, try to enjoy some sunshine, but I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. I actually, so we both try to be active. I got my workout in like right before this podcast, literally. So I was gonna get this 25-ish minute thing in, got it done, hopped in the shower, hopped out, hopped back down. Can I get to work? So my knees have like not been kind to me over the years. So he says run. I'm like, that's what's that?
I love it.
Who does that? How many miles do you run, man?
Don't do that to me.
How many miles? Come on,
what I've been doing now,
you got to tell them. It's got to be at least give us a base, like a floor. What's the floor, right?
So I've shortened down my mileage a lot since college, because we went to college together. So I run about a mile or two, but now I've been really trying to work on football routes, because that's a different type of workout. I played flag football last week. I was like, man, all this running I've been doing, I'm not in shape. So I'm trying to switch it up and do some interval running, some high intensity training, trying to get back in shape. I feel like I'm getting up there.
Did you just say you're getting old, man? Did you just
up there?
Don't use those words.
I ain't say I'm
don't even hint. I go back and forth with my wife now. Like, hey, yeah, you say you old. I'm not old. Don't even.
My daughter about to go to high school in the fall. I'm like, what? High school?
Yeah, man. Nah, I saw a meme the other day that said somebody was talking about checking IDs and they just see the 19 on the front. They had to check nothing. It's like, well, you right. Right. You right. And we about 10 years beyond that. So, Anyway, I know we just chopping it up, y'all. Again, as y'all come in, just tell us who you are, what you're, check all that stuff. Anyway, man, look, if I'll let him tell a little bit about his story, but I happened to meet this guy back in school. We both were kind of, I think our first real bonding moment wasn't an intentional bonding moment. I mean, we met in a program, but the real bonding moment was we both got caught being late to the first day of practice at breakfast. That right there pretty much solidified everything.
Nothing, and we wasn't even roommates.
Right. We wasn't even roommates, man. I think we just, because we did the summer program, and and so, you know, we knew each other. We're there at camp, and said, yeah, we about to go catch this breakfast. It's gonna be down there on, you know, it's breakfast. We just gonna get breakfast whenever. Nothing like walking into a room, a bunch of grown men and coaches, and they all just stare at you the moment you walk in, and they quiet, y'all, like quiet. You know something wrong.
The first day.
The first day. Were we late any after that though? Ever? Never. Never. I remember that. Never. So since that point, man, we've been pretty tight. And so it's been good to be able to keep track of what he's been doing over the years in terms of the financial stuff. But I think we've talked a little bit about how you got into it, but man, how did you go from, so I know you went up to Kent and you were kind of going through the motions of getting your master's and I think PhD in the education space. How did that go from that into teaching finances?
Yeah, so after working on my bachelor's degree, I earned a position as a graduate assistant for a program that serves first generation low income and students with accommodations. And one of the required services was financial literacy. And at the time, I was working on my master's in curriculum instruction. So I was like, I'll draw up some stuff, you know, put it together, see how it goes. And when I did that, I was excited about it. It didn't go fully the way that I wanted. I think that's typically what we all do when we get something together. We put all our expectations and be excited about it. And then it don't, you know, always hit those expectations. But because I ended up earning a full-time position there, I had more opportunity to work on my programming. So I ended up becoming a student involvement coordinator, which meant that I was basically creating the schedule of events for our students. And at the time, it's about 300 students. So one of the reoccurring conversations was about finances. Me personally, I was the kind of person that was utilizing scholarships, and loans and grants to just fund my lifestyle. I had earned a full scholarship to Kenyon College and then going to Kent State University, full scholarship there. But the issue was I was taking out loans. So I was struggling personally to make ends meet and using Peter, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul. So what ended up clicking for me was, okay, how can I better manage my personal finances? And how can I teach that to our students? And one thing I will say about students, like they'll tell you, some of the things they said was like, this has to be fun. Finances are boring. They're scared of numbers. They don't think they can get out of debt. They don't understand student loans. So I packaged all those things together and then allowed them to name some of the topics and then ended up teaching some financial literacy workshops. And then it started to go well, but I wasn't teaching it from a sense of ownership. I was teaching it from a sense of obligation, right? So once I started to, I left Kent State, moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then created my own business and started teaching from a place of ownership. I really felt like I had one, more autonomy, but also creativity. So I was able to talk about, you know, college being more of a financial decision than if I was sitting in the seat talking about it in that space. So I think it really gave me that opportunity to say like, hey, let's have another real level of financial conversations. The students loved it. The Grand Rapids community has loved it, and it continues to drive the work that I do.
Perfect. I love that transition. So folks got that, like you stopped from a point of obligation to ownership. I don't know if you got that. You've been practicing that quote. Yeah, y'all gonna get this. We gonna clown each other today. It's all good. But nah, like in all seriousness, no, and I 100% can identify with that, because in a way I'm similar in the fact that I enjoy training people. I just don't, and I'm an introvert, right? So I don't necessarily like talking to people unless I have something that I really enjoy talking about. And
Right.
so I get it. Like going from that space of having to be forced to do something because it's your job. So being on the phone, talking to people, my first job was tech support, to going out and supporting people from a technical standpoint because I want to, right? It gives
Right.
you that creativity. One quick thing I want to isolate because I think it'd be useful for everybody. Can you explain to us, like, how do you make it fun? Like it's just some basic principles, because I think it applies to
Yes.
adults and children.
Mm-hmm.
Because and this is one of the things when I speak, I'm always trying to think of doing something different that makes the experience more fun for people. And
Yep.
so, like, how do you do that? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. 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 So one of the things is I teach from, I created my own financial literacy model called the culturally responsive financial literacy model, which essentially means that I take into account who you are and teach from a place of your uniqueness. So I'm not going to try to teach you a model that may not work for your lifestyle, but first I have to figure out what works for you. So some ways we make it fun, especially for kids, is we teach by having them buy stuff, right? And having them change their mindset to consumer mindset to investor mindset. So saying something as simple as, you can make this purchase as long as you can rationalize and justify how much money it can give you back. So go ahead and buy those shoes, but how much money can it make you? Right. And if they're like, it can't make me any money, then is that a good purchase for you? And again, you decide. I think the biggest piece is putting the decision making back into the
Mm,
client's hands, the audience members' hands, the person's hands, because that's fun. Because we all know that no one wants to have someone tell them what to do with their money, right? You either worked hard for it, you earned it or something, and then to have someone push something down your throat, you should do this with your money. You No, we're going to help you do what you want to do with your money. And
mm,
another thing is, I'm a firm believer of purchasing things, right? When we talk about financial coaches, advisors, we always feel like we have to tell you not to buy something. No, 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 no. Let's make smart purchases and investments. Let's talk about liabilities versus assets, and let's have fun with it. And then more importantly, setting goals. I learned to make finances fun by first teaching it to my kids. So if my kids can have fun with it, because dad is a very conservative spender, if I can help them have fun with it, then I can help others have fun with it. And then I'm always attentive to how other people can help me have fun with it. Another piece is this, and I'll in this part with this. When we talk about money, we have to just understand the reality of money. Either you have high expenses or low income, right?
mm,
That's either your expenses too high, you're not making enough money, right? So if we can talk about how to address one of those, right, and everything around that, and put it back in your hands so that you feel empowered to make that decision, and then help you shift your mindset to be more optimistic, then you start to see more opportunity. You start to make more healthier financial decisions. You'll be surprised about the trickle down effect that has in your lifestyle.
mm. Okay. Okay. And I like the fact just keep it like real, right? It's like you're
Yeah.
not making money or you're not saving money. You're overspending, you're not making enough.
Yep.
Straightforward. So, like, and I mean, it's like it's real. So, again, as you started this journey out, right? Like, because again, what I get from a lot of people, and then, I've experienced this. I'm sure you experienced this. We're just trying to get to that 10-figure like that, not the 10-figure mark. I know folks trying to get the 10 figures, but uh the first 10K mark, 5-figure mark, right?
Yes. Yes.
Took me a while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Takes most folks like a while to just get to that first something. That's why I want to have these kind of conversations, because
Yeah.
for like too many people are kind of just jamming the whole, hey, you're gonna make 6 figures overnight thing and 7-figure system. It's like, yeah, those things exist. And
Right.
sometimes I train it from a standpoint of 6-figure system. But at the end of the day, I feel like in order to get there, and we talk about, again, we talk about money, and I know like money is all about mindset, right? Like I know you'd
Right.
100% agree. Um, it's that first mental hurdle
Yes.
of just knowing, one, that you can do that, and then two, kind of when you finally do that, becomes this freeing thing, right? It's like when you first pay off that first bill, you know what I mean? That first little small bill, right? It's like the same thing, right? It's that first hurdle. So that's why I wanted to have these kind of conversations, because I feel like it's important for us to really tackle that first hurdle. So what I want to know from you is, one, like, how long did it take you to make, and maybe you don't remember the exact moment you hit 10K or you hit 5 figures, your first big thing, but how long do you feel like it took you to get to the point where you felt comfortable that you could hit that level of income on a regular basis?
So I'll be 100% honest with you, because I do remember when I hit it. It took me 4 months. And I will say the reason why, one, I'll be honest about my privilege and where I am in my life. I work in higher education, right? And I'm very attentive to the needs of higher education, but also our students, right? We have a lot of people that say, quit your job, right? For whatever reason. I still work for my job. And the reason why I work for my job is because it's a resource for my business, meaning it allows clear overlap, legal clear overlap that can help me continue to expand my business. So when I was able to reach my 10K, it was because my contracts were that large. So my first contract was $2,400. Then the next one was $4,800 right off the bat, because I was providing financial literacy over the span of 6 weeks and getting paid for that. So I was able to reach my 10K pretty fast. And when I say fast, faster than when I thought that I was going to reach it, because when I first started my business, I was underselling myself. I didn't really know my value, offering discounts, telling people I'll do some freebies, things like that, right? But as we know, when you're first starting your business, you're very passionate about it. So you always grinding, you working hard, doing some free stuff. But then you'll have some people around you like, you need to charge more. So I started to increase my prices early on in my business, which literally changed the scope of my business early. So I think that's a big thing I encourage people to consider, is really know your value of your business and don't be afraid to adjust it. Because I went from having coaching sessions that was, I think I offered like the first hour was free. The first hour was free. Now my now I know, right? I was like, I'm really uncomfortable. I want clients, blah, blah, blah. So I was literally taking on people for hours for free. So now I offer 15 minutes for free, and then upwards $80 to $100 per session per hour. And the great thing about it is, one, I know my work. I can show, improve the value and all those other pieces. So my road to 10K for me happened within 4 months, because I was grinding, I was working, and I love to track my money. So yeah.
Got it. Perspective though, right? So let's because I know you're talking about, hey, it happened relatively quick. How long had you been working at that? Which school was it at?
This was out in Aquinas College.
Okay. How long had you been working there at that point in time?
I was working there almost a year.
Okay. And you had been at what, Kent before that?
Yeah, for about 7 years.
Okay. 7 so let's so again, I know you say 4 years, so that was quick, right? But let's be fair, because you built up about 8+ years of experience, first off, in that area, getting to know that particular arena. So it wasn't just like, hey, you just showed up and just happened to understand the school system like in 4 months. Nah, you spent 8 years in that realm. And when it came time to have that business, then you were already ready, because you had been in that area. Yeah. Right. So I want to like highlight that real quick, because folks are going to say, oh, 4 months, man. Nah. So 4 months is simply when he used LLC, all of that
money going through my business bank account.
Exactly. That's not the same as the fact that he had been building in some work, know, like, and
Right.
trust inside and getting understanding.
Testing my
Exactly.
curriculum, all of that. Yep. I
Right.
agree.
Right. So he'd been at it for a while. So it wasn't just immediate. So I want to let's talk about the homie hookup real quick, man. Cause that's what you were doing, right? You said, hey, I was getting discounts and whatnot. You get a homie hookup. Like, and that's real. But that's a now I think we should just isolate like that. We could have a whole other segment on that. But at the end of the day, when I talk about like 10K, so first off, if I had to isolate some things that you said, is one, again, like he knew the space again, and you were sitting there, you're teaching and testing, and then you finally realized your worth. Now, there's that period of time before there where most folks just don't know their worth.
Right.
And part of it is because they really just don't know how much they can charge. But some of it is because they get caught in this space of like homie hookup, right? So your first significant client, sometimes when you're talking, you're coming out, you only know your friends and family. So what do? Right. You market to your friends and your family. You tell your friends and your family to come to events. So if we had the, so now, right? So again, let's talk through this now. Mm-hmm. If you had to handle the homie hookup now, right? So let's say that you knew somebody and they wanted to interact with your business, but you know your worth and you're just starting out. How would you best handle the homie hookup now? Where again, it's about relationships. I think it's where most folks struggle. How do you maintain the relationship yet still respectively collect what you're worth?
So I think what you're talking about, I think, is a essential component into ownership, especially small business ownership, because I was given a presentation a couple of weeks ago at this place called Spring GR, which is like a program that helps startups become businesses, things like that. I love it. It's a really great resource. And I was presenting on how to turn your cousins into customers, right? And one of the things I said that was essential was when we start to recognize that, because again, there becomes a point when you're testing your market, when you're testing your product, you're vulnerable, right? You're in a space where you're kind of like, these are my prices. But once you can prove, right, that your product works, you also have to test your worth, right? And that you can do it in a few different ways. One, you can see what your competition is charging. But this is the part that I like. You can ask your potential customers, how much are they willing to pay? Right? You don't give them any price. You just say, how much are you willing to pay for this service? And see what they say. Now, when it comes to family members, as well as friends, I'll be honest with you, it has adjusted some relationships because I have to have them also see me as a business owner and a family member. I can't just see you as a family member. I have to see you as a customer and a family member. You have to see me as a family member and a business owner. But when we're talking about business, then it's customer business, right? But if we at the family reunion, we good. Like, at least I am. I'm good. So one of the things that really helped with that is, one, I ask people to show me their budgets. If they can't show me their budgets and how much they want to charge, I already have set rates now that I'll be able to charge them in the beginning, but letting them know these prices have to increase. Sometimes, or not even sometimes, one of the things I had to learn was I had to teach and help my family understand that I have a business, right? Because they honestly don't really understand what that means. Just as much as when I went to college and I would go back and tell people like, I'm in college, they're like, yeah, we get it, but they're not there, right? I had to stop playing the victim. I could be honest by saying like, oh, well, family ain't supporting my business. And they're not supposed to support your business. Your clients and your customers are supposed to support your business, right? So there was a lot of like I had to look myself in the mirror and get over some of those things because I was also falling victim to what my peers, what social media was doing. Everybody was like, well, don't you hate when your family always asking for this? What do you think they're supposed to do? Right? I'm being real. Like, I can't blame them for things that I can control. So what I can control is my response. Right. Hey, can you give me a discount? Nah. Listen, I'll give you a discount this time, but next time ain't gonna be no discount. Or I'm sorry, I can't do that discount, but I can refer you to some individuals, or here goes some free resources on my YouTube channel that you can check out. So again, it took a lot of confidence and pushing to do that. But at the end of the day, it is necessary. We already know most small businesses fail within 3 to 5 years. And that's one of the reasons why. Because when it comes to their profit, they're doing too much work and not making enough profit, and they're bound to fail.
So look, y'all need to be writing that stuff down, like straight up. I mean, you were in. I you know, it's funny though, because I know when you're like, hey, yeah, just go check out my free stuff up on the site. I can hear the anger through the messenger. It's like he really just like you really just told me to go check out a link. I guess you told me to do. It's just that really. So I think what I've done a couple of times, I had somebody hit me up, and so I had to just be like, all right, well, I think it depended on what it was. I think something, you know, I gave a little hookup, but essentially it wasn't anything that seriously drew on my time, so it really didn't matter for me. It was like, all right, well, fine. That doesn't really cost me any time. I'm gonna have my graphic designer do it anyway. It's not my usual course of business. But they asked about something else. I was like, yeah, so that I usually charge blank. I just let them respond. So I don't even like direct it to them. I just say, yeah, I mean, for that, you know, usually I charge folks blah, 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 blah. And I just see how comfortable they are continuing the conversation. Because most of the time they just aren't comfortable continuing the conversation. So I don't have to be the bad guy. It's just like, yeah. Right. So I just usually charge this.
Right.
That's it. I didn't say I'm gonna charge you that. That's what the rate's gonna be. I'm just like, yeah, no, my clients paid this much.
They'd be like, what?
Crickets.
Right.
Cool. I'll see you on your free show on Tuesday. You know? Right. Like, so, yeah.
Right. Yes.
Ah, man. But good. Folks in the comments, if y'all have questions, again, just let us know. I see folks out there. Again, if y'all just kind of hanging out, tell us what you do, where you're from, how you serve. I see Nisi out there. I see Mr. Morgan out there. I see my wife out there. Appreciate y'all being here. I see Petra hanging out. I know some other folks been popping in and out. So again, tell us, hey, just say hello. If y'all never met Dondrea, y'all need to check him out. He also puts out some dope. I know he says investing is dope. Raise up the t-shirt, man, so folks can see the shirt, bro. Because you know.
Yes, investing is dope. And when we talk about investing, we're not only talking about money, the investor mindset, right? Investing in your body, your mind, your spirit, your all of that. Yep. That mindset is dope.
Excellent. I mean, it's all about mindset, man. It's really that first 10K. Like it's so I know. And so you kind of touched on it, right? So you know your worth now, but I think it's easy for us to say it. So I think we'll just end up like the thing that's kind of be the last thing, man, is because I think this is really the cornerstone of the challenge. And I struggle with this. And that saying is know your worth. And it's fluffy to say, right? Like, yeah, know your worth. And then somebody's gonna look at you, but how? So you gave some practical stuff, like look at your competition, test your market, know your market, right? So those are real practical things that y'all can do. But even that, folks have this way of feeling like it's still not enough because we know what our market. I mean, at the end of the day, we know what other folks are charged because we see them charge us that. We still feel like we can't charge the same, which is crazy to me. I don't understand it. You know, I don't understand it, but I get it. And you're big on investing, right? So I want to throw this at you because I think this was also a big shift for me, especially last year. How important is how much you invest in your business or your self-development to you understanding really what your knowledge is worth?
Yeah. So again, the investor mindset is beyond important, right? I invested. So within that time that Justin was talking about, right? My time at Kent State to my 10K, not only was I testing, my product, I was learning, I was building certifications. I'm the type of person that's like, look, I don't need certification for my business, blah, blah, blah. The reality is those educational environments help because they're giving you different perspective, right? They're equipping you with additional resources. They're allowing you to expand your social network. So whenever you're looking at where you are in your business, if you're not spending time developing your craft, trying to be innovative, again, these are strategies that businesses have learned to adopt and utilize over time. This is why they continue to last generation over generation, right? We're looking at McDonald's. You're looking at let's look at Facebook, for example. Think about Facebook when you first got Facebook versus now, right? They had to adjust. They had to adopt. Some of their terminology probably changed. So you have to look at things not as a customer anymore, but as a business owner. So as a customer, you felt the experience of those things, right? As a business owner, you're giving that experience. But the way you do that is learning how to do it. Just as much as I'm a first generation college student, I was a first generation business owner. Anyone with a business is essentially first generation that business, right?
Right.
Because my daughter can pick up a business, but it's not my financial business within my generation. So there's still going to be a learning curve. So investing in yourself is beyond important. I'll give you another example. I was a person that loved to give financial workshops face to face, right? Pandemic hit, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to learn this technology. I have to learn. Like Justin, I called him. I'm like, how do you do this stuff? Teach this stuff to me because it's very important. But if I wasn't willing to really take into account that investor mindset, I wouldn't have been able to build up my confidence, which means I wouldn't have been able to change and adjust my prices. Hold on real quick, Justin.
Yeah, see, we live in here. So when stuff happens and stuff shifts, we adjust. Hey, so my folks there, Petra, by the way, Petra, if you're still there, let us know. Real quick, connect with me. So I see you said you do a broadcast every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time about promoting Black business. I think that's majorly important. So again, let me know. Hit us up, message me. Dondrea's a Black business. So connect with us. Because again, we'd love to check out what you're doing in terms of promoting Black business. And obviously, if you're promoting Black business, then I would love to promote what you're doing. So go ahead and just make sure you connect so we can check your stuff out. So before my man ghosted out on us.
Sorry about that. My daughter, I heard her scream. So
he's a father, y'all. Like,
yes,
dedicated.
A father of 7.
Yes.
7.
Yes. My man has a lot of mouths to feed.
So my 10K went to so I haven't made that 10K yet for myself. No,
He's like, I got bills. So so you got to get that 10K per child
per month.
Per month. Right. Going. That's the strategy, y'all. That's what we going for. Right. That's what we're headed for, man. So look, real quick, just let's so you the money guy. So I can't leave you out of here without giving at least some good tips. Let's talk about money management real quick. So again, if you have like a few tips you can give, because I truly believe, like in the program we have now. So again, if y'all see the graphic, right, I got this create 10K whole thing going. One of my big things in there is talking about profit margin, right? So it for me is big on, if you get to that 10K, I want you to keep as much of that initial 10K as possible. What are some tips that you can give folks to help them manage themselves up to that point where they're trying to be profitable?
So what I typically tell, especially small businesses, is your personal finances will be a reflection of your business finances. Because for most of us, we're using our business finances to fund our personal expenses. So we have to, as we're on our road to 10K, we have to look at how we can better manage and have more control of our personal finances. Because you would love to be in a space where your income, your expenses has like a defined number, right? Where you're like, look, I just need to make this much for my business and all my personal expenses are taken care of. And then the additional money can go to these other things, right? That'd be a beautiful space to be, especially if you're just using your business to fund your lifestyle.
Right.
But the other piece is, I always tell people, we're focused on the PPP, right? I have a new PPP for us to look at: plan, prioritize, pay. Right? We take out the power of planning when it comes to our personal finances. And I understand why, but we lose our ability to have more control and autonomy over where our money goes. I know a lot of you are probably watching this, probably have experienced not knowing where your money went once you got paid, right? Imagine you working hard for your 10K and the same thing happening. Like, I don't know where that 10K went. Well, it went to the same behavior you have for your personal finance you did on the business side. So you first must have a plan. The great thing about a plan is it's nothing but a vision, right? What do you want to do for your money? You're speaking for your money. So whether it's business or it's personal, you're just speaking for your money. Hey, I want to go on this trip, whatever you want to do. That's the great thing about developing a plan. It can look like whatever until you go to the prioritizing part. So first you develop a plan, which is a spending plan, a budget, however you want to define it. Your income, first start with expenses, and then you talk about income. The prioritization part comes where you start to look at, what are my need expenses? What are things that I definitely need to take care of? Some of them are no-brainers. Some of them you may need some coaching to really look at, especially from the business side. Because again, when we're starting our business, we don't always know the expenses that are going to be great investments, like marketing, right? I have to make sure I'm putting some ads out because that's bringing in revenue. So again, another thing you can do is not do this alone. Always reach out to someone. You can always reach out to me. The 15 minutes is free. And then we can talk about how to develop a good plan for you. And then the last part is pay. The great thing about the paying part is very simple. You just pay according to your plan, right? And the reason why I say it's simple is because you don't just develop a plan to be like, oh, this is where my money's going to go, right? You develop a plan with a clear amount of alternatives. So if I don't get this, I'm the side hustle king. Even though I have 1428, I have my Young Money Finances nonprofit. I Uber, I Shipt and Lyft. You can check out my YouTube channels where I have a challenge where I'm just raising 5,000 just based on doing some side hustles in little moments, right? So I have multiple streams of income that allows me to fund things when, let's say, a contract, they have to extend it because of COVID. Oh, we can't do it this month. And you was kind of dependent on that contract. Well, you better get out there and go Ship, Uber, some type of side hustle, do some Canva flyers, whatever. But again, plan, prioritize, pay. But when you work with me, we break those things down. We just don't say, oh, plan, prioritize, pay. Let's focus on this, right? So again, I love talking about finances. I love helping people take back their sense of autonomy, power, confidence, and then translating that over to their business finances. Because I guarantee you, like Justin was saying, when we talk about profit margin and keeping some for your business, if you don't get your personal finances right, you're going to be draining your business to fund your lifestyle. And you don't want that for your first 10K.
Perfect. My man laid it down. So look, Dondrea, tell us how we can check out your stuff, how we can learn more about you, or get a chance to find out again more info about how we get that 15 minutes and even more.
So the first thing you can do is go to my website, www.1428fw.com. You can also go to my IG page, which is at 1428fw. You can search me on YouTube. I literally love the videos that I'm bringing on YouTube because it allows me to be a little bit more transparent and show you my money, because that's another space and piece that I wanted to provide too. You just search 1428 Financial Wellness. And before I end, 1428 stands for, I named it after the scripture, Luke 14:28, as Jesus was telling his disciples, before you build a building, you must first count the cost. So I help individuals count the cost, not just the monetary, but the cost of your relationships, your mindset, your health, when you're trying to build your tower. So you decide what your tower is, and we can count that cost for you.
Excellent. All right, y'all. So, man, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate y'all
Thank
watching
you.
live. Appreciate my folks in the chat. So again, if you got here on the replay, you missed out on the fun live. Put that thing hashtag replay. So again, we know that you want to replay and check this out, man. Again, Dondre, we've been talking about this for a while, so it's finally good to get the first one out the way. So I know we're gonna do this again at some point again. So
Thank
be
you.
on the lookout. But I appreciate you, man, and I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you sharing all the nuggets with us tonight. So look, y'all, make sure y'all check him out. Check out his info. If y'all need any help with y'all money and your finances, he is definitely someone that you want to speak to. I will vouch for him. If for some reason he cheats you, you let me know. I know how to find him. It'll be Liam Nielsen on the move. You know, I'll have him on the phone, and we gonna track him down, and we gonna mess some stuff up. So just let me know, okay? I'll make sure. He says he runs track. He gets tired eventually. I will catch him. Okay, so just let me know. But seriously, go check his stuff out, y'all. All right, y'all know what y'all need to do. Make sure y'all share this with a friend, a family member, or even your worst enemy, because they need this information too. I appreciate you and all that you do. And as usual,